Hey, I'm Earl Lilliquist. I've been a friend of David Nelson, David Buffalo Bill Nelson, for about 34 years. I'm in his Pals 2 book. I've read Pals 1 and The Shade Tree Choir. Very well written, and if you haven't read them, you really need to buy them and read them because they're hilarious, factual, and I'd like to say tonight, tell a couple stories on David when he was a member of the hunt camp with me. We had a hunt camp in North Florida, and anyway, North Indian River County. One night we're sitting around camp, and a buddy of ours, Chip, came and said, "Hey, you guys, you want to go hog hunting?" Sure, we're ready to go hog hunting. We loaded the dogs into my buggy, and away we went. We got down along a big canal. The dogs started howling. They said, "Let them go." We opened up the dog box. The dogs took off across the canal, went over to another embankment. The dogs started raising canes, so we knew they had a hog trap. One of my buddies, Chip, jumped off, went down, swam across the canal, was on the other side. David and I were up on top of our buggy, and David had the light ready to go. Chip hollers, the dog is hit, the dog is hit. In other words, the hog had a hold of the dog. So he's trying to kick, I guess, trying to kick the dogs off the hog. The hog starts swimming back across. He says, "His hog's coming across, go get him." So I took off down off the buggy, down over the embankment I went. Chip's coming swimming back, and the hog's between me and him. I go down over the bank, I come down on all fours, and there's that hog coming out of there. Luckily, I had my buck knife, took a swat at him, and caught him right in the jugular. There he is right there, the hog. David will show you the hog. His cutters were a lot larger at the time than they are right now, but the hog was 260 some pounds, which was a very good sized wild hog. Just one of the experiences. One other night, we're driving along. My father-in-law and I'd been riding first. We're coming down this road called the Tram Road, and there was a big water hole we called the car wash. And we stopped right there, and a turkey flew up right by the side of the buggy. So about 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, we're riding down the same road. David's riding with us this time, and we're telling him the story. He's lying, or he said, "You guys are lying, you're full of crap. That never happened." We got to the same spot, and the turkey flew up at the same time. So he accused us of having my younger son there letting a turkey go at the same time, which wasn't true because the turkeys just flew up at the same time. Yeah. But we've had some great times together. We went on a cattle drive together. We went in northern Wisconsin fishing. We've been in Texas together, which is a good story about him getting punked, but that's in his book also. Another buddy of ours, Carson Coleman, is in there. My father-in-law is in the book. And I'll tell you, when I started reading Pals 2, I had to put it down. I mean, I'd start laughing so hard I couldn't see the pages. I'd put it down, walk away, and came back, and then started reading again. It's something else. I never thought the guy had that much talent to write books like that, but he sure did. It's been great 34 years. Hope we have many more.
Merle, hold up the Pals 2 and tell them that story, what you did to me out in Texas, because that story's in the book.
Well, we were out in San Antonio, Texas, and we were in the hill country. And we're riding around, and we ended up in Austin. Of course, the women went shopping, and of course, David and I headed for the closest beer joint we could find. We're sitting there having a few sociables, and the waitress, young girl, was waiting on us. The women showed up, so we moved out to the patio. So I guess it was my turn to buy. It seemed like almost every other time it was my turn to buy when you were with David. So anyway, I go in to get some more beer, and I tell the waitress, "Hey, you want to have a little fun?" David's sitting there with his David Buffalo and Bill Nelson cap on, and so she says, "What do you want?" And I said, "Well, see that guy out there? He's a cowboy laureate for the state of Tennessee. But go out there and pretend like you know him, and I'll give you $5." She said, "I'm a drama major at the University of Austin, no problem." So I go out and sit down, and I warn my wife, "Don't say anything, just wait to see what happens." The girl comes out there, she walks by, sets the drinks down, looks at David and goes, "Oh my God, David Buffalo Bill Nelson, he's my favorite. Do you know him?" David goes, "That's me, that's me." She says, "No, he lives in Tennessee." "That's me, that's me." Jumps up, shows her his driver's license. But this time I'm biting my lip to keep from laughing. My wife's still sitting there looking. Jean, David's wife, she's just, eyes are like a deer caught in the headlights. David jumps up. You want me to do a poem? He does a poem, and she says, oh, I can't wait. I've got all your tapes. Wait till I call my mother. So David sits down and he goes, whoosh. And I said, Nelson, if I wasn't here, I'd have never believed it. Oh, Gene goes, see, David, I told you all your hard work would pan out. So I sat there for a while, and he goes, God, I can't wait to call my brother Richard. So I waited a little bit. He's going, shh. And I said, Nelson, you've just been punked. Punked? What do you mean? So I had to explain it to him. You a-hole. You dirty good. Gene, I think, got a little bit mad. But David, that's the best time that I ever had to punk you. And I know you've tried to get me back, but so far, the score's in my favor.
And come close. Show them the books one more time, or I'll focus on that then.
Shade Tree Choir. This is about David, how he grew up in Dubuque, Iowa. I call it Dubuque, but it's Dubuque for him. Excellent book about a young man raised by alcoholic parents and the trials and tribulations that he went through and overcame to be a very successful person. Pals, Part 1. I wasn't around with David then, but some of the stories he tells in here, and I know what a klutz he is mechanical. When he talks about putting a shed together, I'm telling you, it is a win-win-win. Pals 2, on the cover is David and Mickey Lockwood, another buddy of ours. And this guy was absolutely nuts. He was game for everything, tried everything, and did just about everything a person could do. Unfortunately, Nicky succumbed to cancer a few years ago, and was another buddy down that we really, really miss. But this is an awesome book. All three of them I highly recommend.